Sweet. Let's go. Hey guys. So today I want to talk to you about two methods that worked really well for me in shooting professional athletes, or how to actually get their attention or able to reach them to shoot them. So here we go. To start with, you just need to have some kind of body of work that you can reference or show to them. It's like, well, how do I do that? I'm not an athlete or something like that. You have some friends, you shoot your friends how you would shoot these athletes. Now, it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't have to be the, greatest shoot, because like the greatest shoot is just what you want the athlete for. But it just has to give them an idea of, this is how I would shoot you. If you have absolutely no friends and you can't do that, at least put a mood board together or some kind of visual representation of what the images are going to look like. So once you have this body of work of images that you have shot or a mood board that you've compiled together, the first method is you need to be around them. So you're not going to meet any athletes in your bedroom. Highly unlikely. So you need to be around these guys or girls. For me, I was into boxing. I was training in a boxing gym, and luckily enough, some of Australia's top boxing athletes trained at this gym. These are Australian and Austral Oceania title holders that I was training around. And I put it out there to some of the coaches, the gym owner, that, hey, I'm a photographer. I would like to shoot some athletes. Do you know anyone? And it so happened that they introduced me to Eric. Enter Eric the Viking Sokolov. Now, when Eric was boxing professionally, he was Australian super bantamweight champion, Queensland champion, and has fought in fights all over Europe. So he was like the top bantamweight athlete in Australia, and he was looking to grow his social media. Once they said you should introduce yourself to Eric, I went through his social media, and it's like, okay, I see what this guy's trying to do. I can see he's trying to do tutorial style videos. He's trying to promote himself in this kind of way, but he's an athlete. For the most part, they don't know how to do that. Their job is to be the most badass at their craft, not be an influencer. Some just can, but most of them, they just don't have the time, really. And that's where you come in, where you're around them, you know who they are, you put yourself out there, and then before you approach them and just say, hey, I want to take photos, find a way to offer value. So, in regards to Eric, I saw that he's trying to promote himself in this kind of way, making tutorials. Hey, man, I'm a photographer. I would love to give you a hand in making these tutorial videos for Instagram and YouTube. And when you lead with value, your hit rate of getting a yes from someone, and this pertains not just to shooting athletes, but anyone, goes up astronomically. And most of the time, you'll get a yes. So I hit him up, said what I said, and he was all for it. And for about over a year, we shot YouTube and Instagram content for him. And then we also shot projects that I wanted to work on, and shooting him fighting, shooting his friends fighting, or these boxing athletes training in the gym. Also being invited to shoot professional boxing matches and being paid to shoot professional boxing matches and amateur boxing matches. So by just putting yourself out there and leading with value first instead of just making it all about you, it's really likely that they're going to say yes, and you could get some paid work out of it. So I just want to put this in real quick. They can only say yes or no. If they say no, it's not a big deal. Just find another one. It's going to be okay. You will survive. Back to the video. And these are some of my favorite images. Like, one of them is actually printed. I think I printed it 1200 by 800 and hung in the gym of when Eric won his super bantamweight title, which is super sick. So that's method number one. Method number two is another video that I've talked about, but this is really pertaining to professional athletes, is come up with a project. Think of a personal project. Like, projects are just so important for one, growing your photography business, your photography skills, um, and they can take you a long way, introduce you to a lot of people. And so that's what I've done is I'm working on a project that I want to help 100 athletes take the image that's worthy of their story. So if there's a Netflix special about them, this would be the hero image on the front. If they're writing their autobiography, this would be the hero image. So there's a clear purpose behind what you're wanting to do. And for me, this is like a long-term project. 100 athletes. It's gonna take me a couple of years to get through this, and so far has been great success. I'm about over 20% through, and this is the kind of athletes and where it's led me. So it starts with Eric. Eric was one of the first athletes that I interviewed and shot for this. And then from there, you meet someone else, you reach out to someone else, you have a little bit of proof of work because you've shot someone for the project already. And you just reach out to them with your reason, and then sometimes, with your project, and sometimes you're just going to get a no, or you're just not going to get a response, and that's not just you can't take that to heart, because if you put themselves in their shoes, it's like, who are you to them? For the most part, you're just no one, and you just can't take that stuff to heart, because if you don't, sometimes they come around, or someone mentions you to them, or they see you with someone else, and then all of a sudden they go, hey man, I didn't see this message, I'd love to be involved. And from there, it just slowly builds momentum. It just might be people at your gym that you train at, or the sport that you're involved in, or something like that. And then you can reach out further, or hey, can you recommend another athlete to be involved? And it builds this momentum that has allowed me to shoot some of Australia's top motocross riders, boxers, CrossFit athletes, strength athletes, wakeboarders, and it's slowly starting to it builds more momentum. And oh, look, getting goosebumps thinking about it. Of okay, what's the next step? How far? And this is just for me, for your project or the athletes that you want to shoot. It could just be some local athletes. For me, it's how do we get Roger Federer or Rafa or someone like that in front of the lens for this project. So by the end of it, it'd be sweet to be shooting some of these humongous household names that everyone knows who they are. But the project method, it's a longer game usually, but pays off way more of the level of athletes that you can shoot with. So I hope that's been of use to you, and you can put these methods into use on if you wanted to be a sports photographer or just wanted to shoot any athletes. And really, you could mold this to any kind of genre. Like if you just make a project or be around the people in the fashion industry or in the fishing industry or whatever it pertains to, mold these, insert your subject or your purpose into each method, and see how it goes. I hope it's been of value, and happy shooting.